questions, right? People have specific questions that they have. So it's important that, because not everybody's career is the same. Our careers are not the same. Our career journeys, our career paths are not the same. And so people have specific questions. People have tailor-made questions, and they need tailor-made answers. So I want to be able to spend about 30 minutes thereabout to answer a lot of questions. So I would move this as quickly as I can. All right. So go with me on this journey. You already know me. My name is Oluwatoyin Sodipe. And like I said, this is my life's work. This is what I do on a daily basis. Now, this is the part where I really want to read from you. I can see the chat section, and you have to engage with me in this conversation. Do you understand? Like, we're going on a journey. So I want you to stay with me. Here's the icebreaker I want us to have. If your career were a Netflix series, this one, I know everybody knows what Netflix is. You've probably seen a movie this week or something, right? If your career were a Netflix series right now, what would the title be? Put it for me in the chat section. I want to read from you. If somebody was watching your career as a movie, right? Chukwamaka says still loading. Okay, interesting. Iborakam says still loading. Okay. Chibusa says still loading. Okay. So give me a bit of context. When you say still loading, right? You know, Netflix, when they put the title, they will still put a little about the movie so that I can know what the movie is about before I press play. So when you say still loading, do you mean you are currently in transition, you want to get into a new job, or you are a recent graduate? Give me a bit more context about, the movie still loading. Okay. Daniel says the Hustle Chronicles. Daniel, you also want to give me a bit more context, right? What's the hustle like? Are you looking for a new job? Looking for a new opportunity? You're transitioning? Give me a bit more context. Let's have this conversation. Right. If you said bad bosses, I know what that could easily mean. Even without reading the about, I know where that movie is going to, right? Okay, so Chibusa says, I'm still in the process of growing as a young graduate, building a career and a personal brand. Okay, interesting. So growing as a young graduate, you want to build a career and a personal brand. Okay. Bukola says, figuring it out. Okay. Like all of us are doing anyway, we're all figuring it out. Okay. So nobody is in the Bad Boss movie, Devil Wears Prada. How many of you have seen that movie? There are very innocent people on this call. Have we seen life? God's power is figuring it out. Okay, interesting. Okay, so okay, let me just say Akai. Right. Akai says, I thought I had it figured out, but I just discovered I've been hustling for 8 years. Never really structured what my career should be like. Feel like I made bad choices, course correcting at the moment. I love your honesty. I love the vulnerability. And I want to say thank you for sharing that with us. Okay. All right. Chukwemeka says, I'm a recent graduate. I already know what I want. I believe so. The problem is navigating. Okay. Daniel says, I'm still in the process of finding my feet, trying out a lot of things. And that's not a bad thing. Looking forward to align everything in my career. Thank you, Khalid, for sharing. Right. And that is why we're on this call. And just like a series, right? You know, those movies that are interesting, that you're like, you gotta give us a part 2. You can't stop in part 1. And that's what we're here. We're here to learn. We're here to have these conversations. We're here to get answers to our burning questions. So I want you to stay with me. I want us to be able to figure out a few things, if not maybe a lot of things, in the next 60 minutes, right? Or maybe less than, because we're past time. So let's move on to this very quickly. All right. Okay. Now, I always like to start with this quote, or most of the time like to start with this quote. Okay, let me just minimize this. And it's a quote by a very dear, okay. Let me know if you can see my screen properly. I feel like some things are being taken off. Okay, you can see my screen well. Okay.
Excuse me. So it's not showing the entire screen. Some of these words are broken towards the right.
Yeah, I figured. Okay. Okay, I am going to reshare because I want you to be able to see everything that I'm showing. Okay, just give me a second.
Okay. So while she's working on that, you guys can share more context. So what do you mean by figuring it out if you're lower? Okay, it's off now.
You can see my screen. You can
Yes.
see it.
Yes.
Amazing. Okay. So I say a quote by Steve Jobs that I love so much. It says, the only way to do great work is to love what you do. And if you haven't found it yet, keep looking, don't settle. It says the only way to do great work is to love what you do. And I know that might unsettle you a bit, especially if you are in the hustle chronicle. If you feel like you've made bad choices, if you feel like you are just trying to get by, you're just trying to survive the hustle, I can assure you, and I'm telling you this from experience, from research, that you can actually do work that you love. I'm telling you, in case you have heard anything otherwise, take my word for it. Take the prophecy that I'm bringing to you for it. And I'm telling you that there can be an alignment between your life's purpose and the work that you do as a career professional. And I like how a mentor of mine puts it. She says, where you live a life that you don't have to take a vacation from. And I thought that was so profound. You see, even on my leave days, even on my vacation days, I could be doing this all day. So it is very possible that you are in a career that you love. And I hope that that is healing somebody right now, that you are doing work that you are passionate about. And this doesn't mean you're not going to have some off days. This doesn't mean you're not going to have some challenging days, especially if you're working with humans. You already know that human beings are just, they can be funny, right? It doesn't mean you're not going to have those moments. But I assure you that you can do work that you love. You can do it with people that you like. It's possible. And I like how Steve Jobs says it. And when he says, if you haven't found it yet, keep looking. What that tells me is that even if you are in a place where it feels like you don't love what you do yet, you are going to keep searching. You're not going to give up. You're not just going to, get out and go sit at home, especially if you have bills to pay, especially if you have commitments that you need that income for. And I respect that decision. And that's why I am always careful when I have these conversations, because I know not everybody has the privilege to just go do what they feel like doing. There comes a time in your life where at the beginning, you want to do what is necessary, honest work, such that it steps you on to what you really want to do. But here's the part I want you to hold on to. Don't settle. Keep looking. Keep that aspiration that you have. And this brings me to my next question, right? To say, ask yourself, are you managing your career, or you are simply going where it takes you? Are you managing your career, or you are just winging it? You are just as the occasion comes. Is that what you're doing? Are you intentional about your career? Just before I came on this call, I was just on LinkedIn, and I read something about the new HR director for Guinness, and I don't even know why that caught my eye. I think she's had about maybe 19 years career journey, and the person was writing, and the person said this person has no extra certificate, no extra association that she belongs to, and the person listed how she has spanned her career, how every move has been so calculated. She spent 3 years 2 months here, then she moved on to a higher role where she spent 2 years 3 months here. When I read it, it made sense. It showed an intentionality. If you find time to go look it on LinkedIn, you can just Google the new HR director. I think she's supposed to resume August 1st, right? And just look at how intentional you can be when it comes to planning your career. So this is a question you want to ask yourself. Are you really managing it the way you're managing all other important things in your life, or you're just trying to wing it? Now, let me talk to you about the reality of career growth today. And this will also buttress the point on why you need to be intentional about your career. The first thing you need to understand is that career paths are no longer linear. Progress is not always upward or predictable. What that means is that your career will not always go in a straight line. And so maybe you are even in a phase where it's going left, and you feel like because it's going left, because it's not going up, you feel like you are not doing the right thing. I can assure you, your career path doesn't always have to go forward in that sense. Or let me use the word upward. And I'll give you an example of what I'm saying. For example, if you are, and I'm going to use consulting, or I'm going to use the HR professional a lot, that's the space that I play in. as an HR professional, if you are, let's say, maybe you work in an organization, you are maybe a middle-level manager, you have about, let's say you have about 4 years experience or even 5 years experience, right, as a maybe an HR specialist in that organization, and you want to move to consulting, right? Consulting is what you love. You want to be able to solve clients' problems. You want to provide solutions to their pressing people problems. And you get an opportunity to move to a place like BCG, a place like McKinsey or like Bain, right? BCG is Boston Consulting Group. And these are the 3 top consulting companies in the world, right? They call them the big 3 in the world. If you get an opportunity to move into those organizations, there is very high chance that you will not start from the level that you left your former organization. There is a high chance that you are probably going to start from an associate level or a senior associate level at best. Now, somebody might look like it and say, oh, but I've spent 4 or 5 years here. You should just throw me straight to a senior consultant. But I can assure you, when you move as an HR professional and you ask anybody in consulting, if you move into a place like McKinsey or a place like BCG, if they give you associate, you have moved upward, because the gap is not small. You move from playing in maybe a local organization or even maybe somewhat of global, you move to top 3 in the world. You see that your levels have changed, your life has changed literally. That might not look like forward to somebody because you might lose 1 level, you might lose 2 levels, but that for you is career progress. So you must understand that your career paths, they will not always be linear. You might have transitions, you might have detours. For example, if you're switching careers, you might have that option sometimes. So don't always think that when you are taking a detour, it means that you are failing. Don't always think like that. Progress is not always upward or even predictable. A lot of factors affect progress. Okay. The second thing you must realize is that skills have a shorter lifespan. What does that mean? What has made you valuable? What has made you a hot cake? What has made you to be highly demanded in previous years might not make you a hot cake in the next 3 to 5 years. So skills now have a shorter lifespan. What you used to know how to do before, you must know how to do something new. Or what you used to do before, you must know how to do it in a way that you did not know how to do it before. Do you understand what I'm saying? So when you do a skill audit, you list all the skills that you have, right? All the skills that you knew how to demonstrate in the past year. When you get into a new season or you get into a new year, you list those skills. You must have additional skills. Or when you look at it on the proficiency level, if you used to be 2 or 3, you must be playing at 7 or 8 in the next year. You can't stay on that same place. So you must constantly be evolving and telling yourself, what is it that I must know that is in high demand for my career now than it used to be? So you must take note of that. The third thing I want you to remember is that visibility matters as much as competence. This one is the place where I feel like a lot of professionals have really failed in the past. But I'm happy that a lot of people are coming into it and people are realizing that being good at your job is not enough. I sabi my work, it's not flying anymore. I just do my job, I just come to work, I just face my business. So I do my work, I go. It's not working for you anymore. Because as much as you are competent, you must be visible. Your competency must be visible. The people that matter must know that you are doing good work as much as you say you are doing good work. And I'm not saying go and do eye service. I'm not saying go and kiss people's feet. I'm saying you must be so accountable, so intentional about blowing your horns, about projecting the good work that you are doing. What does that look like? It looks like you sending a mail as update to your manager and saying, dear sir, dear ma, this project, we just completed it. These were the challenges that we faced, but we were able to prefer 1, 2, 3, 4 solutions. The client is happy and we have closed out on this project. It looks like information, but I'm telling you, your manager reads it. She's like, okay, they move on. By the time you send 1, 2, 3, 4 of that, you will stick in their brain. This is how you become visible. Because you know what? Your manager has so many things on their table. You are the one who has to project your competency. You must project what you do. Let me give you another example. In consulting, right, apart from the work that we do, where the normal consulting work that we do. We also have what we call firm contribution. And what that means is it looks like things like maybe volunteering for maybe career day, voluntary day, sustainability day. When you work in certain organizations, every day is celebrated. Health day, water day, fire day, everything. Now, some people might look like, oh, I just want to do my job. I don't even have enough time to complete my work. People are now talking of, because first of all, let me tell you, those firm contributions, they don't exactly contribute to your KPI, right? They're most likely not in your KPI. But I can assure you, putting your feet, have you read, or I'm sure you know of foreign organizations, right? Where, and you might have maybe heard of it or you've seen it in movies, where people get scholarships to go and they get, maybe you're in high school, you get a scholarship to go to college. And some of the things that they look at, what association did you belong to? What community did you belong to? What other areas apart from academics did you play in? Some of us now, they scammed us. So when we went to school, it was just book. Our parents used to tell us, is it dance? I told you to go and dance. His book, I said you should go and read. Some of us are still traumatized over that thing. But I can tell you, in the workplace, when you do your job, when they call for a firm contribution, you think it's beans. That some people, they say, we're having company football game today. Some people leave their house and go there. It's not because they really like football. It's that there are people there that will come for that football. There are leaders, there are partners that will come there, that they will say that, you left your house to come for this football. Okay, they'll be paying attention to you, small. I heard of someone just made partner in my firm a few weeks ago. And when the person made partner, you need to see how people were so happy. They were shouting. I say, so later I went to meet someone. I said, what is it? I said, this person, I really don't even know him like that. I mean, I've seen him once or so. I said, but tell me, apart from the fact that I know that, I mean, before you can make partner, you have to be professionally sound. You have to know what you're doing. But is there any other thing? Because people were so excited. I'm like, number one, me and this partner, we're not even going to share this money that they are going to pay him. So why is this energy? And the person was telling me, I say, is available. Such, not available as in just everywhere, but is the fact that he shows up. I said, interesting. So apart from the fact that he knows the work, he's a genius at his work, he also shows up in other firm contributions, other firm volunteering events, other maybe just events or seminars or webinars that they do. He also shows up. I'm like, that makes a lot of sense. So what am I saying? Being good at your job is not always enough. You need to learn how to manage up. You need to let the people who matter, the essential stakeholders, know that you are good at your job. Because remember, in the organization that you are, and especially if you're in consulting, brilliance, they cry. Plenty brilliant people. So the question is, what makes you different from the next brilliant person? What is it that I should remember about you that is different from the other person? So you must remember that visibility matters. The other thing I want you to take note of is that growth is now increasingly self-driven. Gone are the days where you are waiting for them to send you on training before you know what to do at your job. In fact, have you noticed organizations are not even investing money in training because they're just like, with all the tools that we have in this world, if you are not still getting trained, we cannot really help you. You have ChatGPT, you have YouTube, you have Google, you have Gemini, you have Notebook LM. What else do you have? You have Cloud. What else? You have Udemy, you have Coursera. Lots and lots of free courses. So you can't wait and say, if they don't send me for training, this thing, I cannot do it. Growth is increasingly self-driven. You have to drive your own growth. What is the vision that you have for your career? It is that vision that will make you now intensify on your efforts to growing yourself, to developing yourself personally and professionally. There's a certification I want to take now, and even though it's going to cost me maybe not an arm, maybe 3 fingers, but I'm going to go take that course because I need it. I need it. I need that course. Because I know what that course will do for me by the time I get certified. I know the way it's going to increase my earning power. So I'm going to go learn it. I'm not going to wait for them to say, so if you want to write exams, I'm not going to wait for that. I'm going to go take that course. The organization will provide a platform for you, but you have to drive your own professional development. So what courses have you highlighted that you want to do? What certifications do you feel like is necessary to your job that you want to take to increase your competency and to also increase your earning power? Do you know that a time is coming? A time had come, it died down, but another time is coming. And I'm saying it because of the climate that you and I play in. This is Nigeria. Maybe in other countries, it might not. But I mean, for example, it's now becoming very, I'll say very obvious, right? If you don't have CIPM as an HR professional, it's going to be hard for you to practice. Even though I mean, I have some reservations about it, but it's where we're going to. So you might look like that and say, certificates, everybody's just, I get the reservation you have, and I sort of shared with you. But I'm telling you, if there is a certification, if there is a course, if there is a skill that is attached to your job, you had better go and learn it. You had better go and get it. Such that when you show up for the interview and they're asking you, what is it that makes you different from the next candidates? You can be able to say, oh, I have acquired this. I have acquired this. We live in a certificate climate. I agree with you. But you got to do what you got to do. If you see what I'm talking about, right? So you must be committed to your own professional and personal development. The other thing I want you to know is that relationships influence opportunities. Your merit matters, but so do your connections. And why am I saying this? Is that when you get in an organization very connected to visibility, you cannot do work alone. You have people who are saying, I just do my thing, I don't want anybody in my business. I just do my work and I go. Webinars, you don't attend. Event mixers, you don't attend. Career fairs, you don't attend. Industry events, you don't attend. So please explain to me, how are you growing your career? Because you must remember that those connections that you ought to be making, they are very pivotal to your career growth. When you need a new job, do you know that there are some people, they have never had to apply in the past 3 years. They have never had to apply to an organization. Somebody just messages them, oh, the last conversation we had, oh, we met at this and this. Oh, are you open to, some people, they're using job to beg them. And that's why I always tell people, when people say there is no job, I beg to disagree. There is job. And when I don't know the name, I'm not sure if it was Bukola that was reading my profile. So it's Sheshewa. And what it means is She Ishewa, like is their work, right? And that's what it means. There is job. Sheshewa, Ishewa, work day. Because there are people who are not applying but are getting jobs. There are people who they are sending links to apply. There are people who they are headhunting. Are they doing it? How did they take Duam? Relationships, connections. And I'm a practical example. I belong to a community where somebody just put and I'm even talking of not just even for you, I'm talking of even for your family members. Do you understand? The person just put on the group and the person said, oh, I have a younger sister. She's just finished NYC. She's looking for this and this. Oh, and I had a friend who was looking for someone to fill a role in an organization. I just messaged her. I said, oh, can you send me a CV? And she got the job. We did the interview. She got the job. If she did not belong to that community, if she did not put it out there, if she did not create that relationship or that connection, so you can see that it even trickles not just you alone, but also to the people around you. I can tell the number of people that have gotten opportunities just by me being in a community. So do it for yourself. Do it for the people that are connected to you. Learn to grow those relationships. When they have career events, don't just be lazy and say, oh, you watch online. Everything is not online. Even if it's for the sake of meeting someone, going to the booth stand, go. There are free events in many places. Attend webinars. When you see the design, look at, okay, it's not so far from your house. Can you attend with a friend? That's how you connect with people. I hope we're getting it, right? Okay. So let's move on in this conversation, right? So how do you build a strong professional foundation? Like I said earlier, a lot of the things you're going to hear me say, you probably have heard it before, or you might even be hearing me repeating or even emphasizing, right? The first thing you need to know is that you need to have a strong knack for knowledge. And this one worries me so much because we're now in an age, we're now in a generation, and I'm not even going to say lazy generation, but I will say it with my full chest. We have a part of even our generation where everybody just wants to wing it. You want to vibe and TikTok. You must be able to go for good knowledge. See, I'm looking for how I would drive this point home. If you don't have strong affinity for knowledge, you are not going to go far in your career. Heck, you are not going to go far as a person, because the world is changing at an alarming rate. If I ask you now, what do you desire to be in life? You have goals, you have dreams, many fantastic things that you have to say. If I now ask you, how many books have you read that are connected to this thing you want to be? The crickets in the room will now come up. Nobody's going to be able to say anything. And that's the challenge. You must be an avid reader. You must be constantly learning. You must be researching. I tell people all the time, there's no excuse for you to not learn. You have a phone. You're scrolling on Instagram. You have TikTok. You have Snapchat. You don't have any excuse. You have absolutely no excuse to not be an avid reader. What are you learning in your industry? What are the trends in your industry? What are the new skills that are coming up in the year 2026 as a career professional? What research have you done to say, okay, this is where I am. This is the job that I have. How can I be better at this job in the next 3 to 6 months? You've not done that research. No, now you must. You have to. So the first thing is you must have a strong knack, a strong affinity for knowledge. The second thing is you need to have a resilient and a growth mindset. Resilient in the fact that you cannot give up so easily. You know, the thing with people is that when it looks like it's hard, people think it's an indication to drop it. I worked in an organization that I love the slogan so much, the African Leadership University. And our slogan is that we do hard things. Let me tell you what, one of the ways to really grow your mental muscle is to do hard things. Think hard way. Don't just be a, soft girl, soft guy. Everything is soft. Soft is good. But what is the hard thing you're doing to challenge yourself? You must be resilient. You're trying to get into an industry. You're trying to acquire a skill. You want to learn coding. You want to learn tech. It's looking like, this thing is not like for me. If that's what you want to learn, you have to stay there. You are a finance person. You say you don't like number. Please, asasao. Or you are, just a side joke. Or you are in the medical line. You say you don't like blood. Help me, help me, help me. They carry me where I don't know. You have to. You must train yourself to do hard things. You must train your mind. Let me tell you something about the mind. And I hope that this really brings out the genius in you, because everybody has a genius in them. There's something we call the neuroplasticity of the brain. And what that means is that as you take in knowledge, your brain expands to take in that knowledge. And when your brain is expanding, literally, it will look like head is spinning you. I've read some books. I've taken some courses that as I was reading it was just like, I'm like, let me first of all go and drink cold water and come back. But what is happening in your brain is that it's expanding to take in that knowledge. But I can also assure you that your brain cannot come back to the way it was before. Such that you think you are tired, but your brain has the ability to make space for what you need. So read. Stay there. You are learning something. It's looking like it's hard. Stay. And you must have a growth mindset. A growth mindset, simply, the difference between a fixed mindset and a growth mindset is simply that a fixed mindset will say, this is the way it has been done. There's no other way to do it. I cannot know anything more than what I know. A growth mindset says, I have the ability to take in new knowledge. I have the ability to do new things. I have the ability to do other things. If I don't know it, I will go and learn it. That's a growth mindset. You must have that. The other thing you need to understand as a young professional, and this I can relate, when people have reservations, but I'm telling you from experience, is that at the beginning of your career, the goal is to learn before you earn. I know that we're in a volatile economy, we're in a demanding economy where it feels like, the cost of things are getting higher, you need income, you need sustainability, and I get that. But I'm saying that whilst you're trying to make income, whilst you're trying to, get all the money that you want to, let your focus be to learn. When I started my career, even though I knew I wanted to do HR, right? When I left school, I got a job opportunity to be, to work with. So the first one that I got, okay, I think this was even before I left school, maybe so every time we had holiday, every time we had this long break, I would always find a place to go and volunteer my skills or to go and learn. I would always do that. And I remember that one of the first jobs that I got to work as a technical assistant to the CEO of an HR company. A technical assistant. I knew I wanted to do HR, but you see, it was such a great opportunity because this person was not just an HR professional, but she happened to be the first female HR director of an oil and gas, a popular oil and gas company. And so it was a privilege to learn from there. So what I'm saying is, in your first, as you're building the foundation, let your focus be more on learning. You are going to earn, don't worry. You are going to be calling money that even you go they shake. Don't worry about it. I'm telling you, what I used to earn then, it doesn't come close anymore. It's not with all sense of humility. You're going to earn the competencies that you are acquiring for free, because when you are learning, somebody is taking their time, their effort. You know that it even costs them to teach you, because they will rather hire somebody that already knows it. But they've hired you, they have said, come to learn. And it baffles me every day when I get on interviews and I'm trying to recruit for people with 0 to 2 years experience, and they're calling something that I will almost call amroba money. I'm like, I'll just laugh. I'll just like, because I'm like, you're not doing me. That's on you. Because when you call such an amount of money that's even, and I've heard all sorts of things, and I know that they've told you that, you have to believe in yourself. But you and I know, that I know that that you don't have the competency yet. You are now calling some kind of money. Why are you doing that? It would discourage the person from continuing the interview. And I've seen it again and again. I just smile. I say, okay. Then you now ask them interview questions. They'll now tell you, I don't really know it, man, but I'm a fast learner. Oh, you are a fast learner, but I should pay you the amount of money because you're a fast learner. Let's fear God. Do you see what I'm saying? So at the beginning, as much as you can, put your feet in the ground, put your head in the ground. Okay. Let me move very fast now. The focus for you in the beginning is to learn. So you learn to earn. The other thing, and I'm sure I've talked about this a lot, is technical competence. You must know how to do your job well. Don't just put a facade and say you have an idea. You have an idea, but know how to do the job well. And I know that is self-explanatory. Behavioral competencies are also very critical at the beginning of your career. And that's why you see that there are people who might not be as smart as you are, who might not have the first class or the 2 ones that you have, but it looks like they are making waves in their career. It looks like they are moving fast. Behavioral competencies is as great, is as important as technical competency. And I like how John Maxwell puts it. John Maxwell says, talent is never enough. And I thought that was so good. What that means is that you are talented, you know the job, you sabi the work. It's not good enough. You must also have some behavioral competencies to go with it. Things like respect, courtesy, attitude. You will see smart people with very terrible attitudes. I can't work with such people. And there are people who can work with such people. Even you, when you find them, you might not be able to work with such people. People who are talented. You're talking of first-class candidates, but they have no regard for people. No respect, no courtesy, no great attitude. They are unkind. It's important that we talk about it. As you're building technical competence, you must also be building behavioral competency. You can learn respect. You can learn kindness. You can learn courtesy. You can learn how to have a good attitude, even in the face of pressure. All right. So that's one. Those are some things that you must take away. Another thing is professionalism and reliability. You must grow as a professional. You must learn how to be professional. There are people who still think that the workplace is their immediate family house. Do you see? You feel like everybody should understand what you are going through. Not everybody is going to understand what you are going through, because when you come into the organization, the same way you have feelings, the same way the other person has feelings. And that's why when we come, one thing that binds us together, that makes us uniform, is our professionalism. We all must come professional. People must be able to rely on you and say, no matter what may come, this person, I can trust them to be professional in what they're doing. Do you see what I'm saying? So you must be professional. You must also be someone that people can rely on, right? Can people trust you to show up where you say you will show up? Can they trust you to deliver when you say that you will deliver? There are some people, they are doing the work. They've given you a task, right? They've given you a task, but they are still giving you deadlines to the task. But some people are still saying, I have not finished the task. There are some people, they are never early on their deliverables. They are always late. Then you wonder why it feels like you are not, as it were, moving ahead in your career. Because there's something that we call the social contract in an organization. There's a mental trust that people can have towards you. If you're not reliable, people will know and people will pack you to one side. You have to come correct, right? Collaboration and teamwork, very important. You must learn how to work as a team. Maybe you like to do things alone. Those times are past. You must learn how to work as a team. You must learn how to collaborate with other people. You must learn how to manage up, how to manage down, how to manage your colleagues as well. Okay. All right, let's move very quickly. Now, let's take a look at career transitions, right? What does transition mean? If you're in a transition, what are the things that you should do? And uncertainty is very connected to transitions. And what that means is that if you're in a period where you are uncertain about your career, you would most likely want to transition, right? So let's take a look at that. And I've said here that one of the biggest realities of modern career is that uncertainty is inevitable. You can have situations, you can have periods in your life where you're not sure, right? And it could be maybe just lack of clarity, economic downturns. If you're in an industry where you feel like, okay, I don't know if we're still going to be needed in the next 6 months or 1 year, that's also a very strong indication of uncertainty, right? Maybe your organization is laying off, they're restructuring, there's now, rapid, advancement in technology, AI is everywhere, right? Or maybe just industry changes, or maybe you're just feeling stuck, right? These are all reasons, for you to feel uncertain. And it's okay if you're uncertain at times. But I said here that the goal is not to eliminate uncertainty, but you must develop the ability to thrive despite it. And I've told you, when people are saying there are no jobs, there are some people that are changing jobs every 2 years. Have you seen people like that? Let me know if you've seen people like that. Okay, I see your thumbs up. And you're like, you go on LinkedIn every market day, somebody is saying, I'm happy to announce to you. I'm happy to announce you are like, when will they take this job? I'm happy to announce to you. I'm happy to announce to you. So the goal, like I said, is not to stay or to just completely eliminate uncertainty. It's going to be there, but you have to develop your ability to thrive. And let's take a look at, some of the things that we can do in uncertain or transition seasons. If you want to transition, right? If you want to move from one industry to another, if you want to move from one job to another, or you want to change careers completely, what are the things that you must pay attention to, right? To increase the chance of you transitioning successfully. The first thing is for you to get some clarity. Don't rush the process. Ask yourself, why are you moving? What is the thing that you're seeing? If you're moving because your friend is moving, I don't know how to help you. Because remember, we said that career paths are not the same. You must have your why, your strong why. Why are you moving from one industry to another? Why are you moving from one career to another? Where are you moving to? Now, for this, you might not have the full picture, but you must have some form of clarity, some form of picture to say, okay, I don't know what I want to do fully in the next 3 to 5 years, but I know that in the next 6 months, this is the skill, right? That I want to acquire. This is the competency level, or this is the proficiency level that I want to attain. Now, you must also ask yourself, what is it going to cost you to move? This is one thing that people don't ask enough. And so when people leave jobs, except you have some savings stored somewhere, except you have some big money stored somewhere, you also have to be careful, right? And that's why I don't give people blank advices and say, oh, if you're tired, just leave that job. To go and do what? Are you not going to eat? Are you not going to pay house rent? So we have to be realistic, right? What is it going to cost you to move? And that's why you hear people say, I want to save, I want to have an emergency fund for the next 6 months before I now move out of my career, right? Or before I move out of my current job. Because as we're going to see in subsequent slides, the fact that you left your job today and you are very skilled or very talented does not mean you get another one tomorrow. Yes, there are jobs, but it doesn't mean that it's tomorrow you enter another one, except you already have an offer. So get some clarity. Ask yourself questions. Why are you moving? Where are you going to? And what is it that is going to cost you? You also want to reframe your experience. Remember, if you are transitioning, or even if you're a recent graduate, and this is why I tell people, as a recent graduate, as a young professional, when I got out of school, I already had maybe about 1 or 2 persons offering me a job in the organization. And the reason why that happened is the fact that I demonstrated knowledge of some things and they saw it. So while I was in school, remember I told you that while I was in school, when we have any short break, any long break, I will go and work somewhere. You don't even have to pay me, as it were, because again, I'm still in school. I will learn, I will put my eyes down. And so I had, even by the time I was leaving school, I had acquired certain skills: communication, problem solving, critical thinking. These were soft skills that I had already acquired. So you want to reframe your experience. If you're transitioning, you are not starting from the scratch, you are repositioning yourself. And that's where I say you need to identify transferable skills that you can use to move from one industry to another and leverage that where next you are going to. Okay. The other thing is for you to research. If you want to move from one level to another, I already said it, you must be an avid reader. You must be someone who has a strong knack for knowledge, for researching. What are the skills, the knowledge, and the attributes? We call them SKA, or competencies. Competency equals to SKA, skills, knowledge, and attributes, or attitudes, like some people will call it. What are these skills that are required in the path that you're moving to? You want to move to a new job. Have you listed it? And I'm not just saying you sitting down and thinking about it. I'm saying taking your book, your pen, and listening and saying, number one, this is the skill that I have. This is the proficiency level. Number two, this. Now, that job that I am going to, this is the proficiency level that is required. Communication, I'm at a 3. But communication, I need to be at a 7. There's a gap. You now start to ask yourself, how can I upskill to close the gap of where I am and where I want to be? And that's the whole point of learning and researching, is that you want to close a knowledge gap that you have so that you can become much more valuable, so that your earning power can also increase. And because that's why there are levels. So when you get to organizations where you see people in associates, senior consultants, their money differs, so does their knowledge. What somebody knows is higher than what the other person knows, right? So you want to bridge that competency gap that you might have. I already said this before. Relationships. There are people are just entering their DM in LinkedIn, or on LinkedIn. Oh, I've gone through your profile. I'm interested. I like your profile. It's very rich. Or are you able to? I get it all the time, and it's interesting because I now have to say, oh, I'm sorry, I'm not looking to move at the moment, right? But I can recommend, and I love to do that. I love to recommend people. But there are people, I can only recommend somebody that I'm sure of, not somebody that will go there and they will not ask me, because it's my credibility that is on the line. So when I cannot take an opportunity, I'll ask them, oh, but I'm happy to recommend someone who can fit in this role for you. So you must leverage relationships. You have to be strategic in applications. It's not everything that you just send CV and you are waiting for when they will call you. Let me not even go into that matter, because as an HR professional, you might think that, oh, they are wicked people, but it's not that they are wicked people. One role, you have 500 applicants. Do you really believe that a talent acquisition professional or specialist will sit down and be opening 500 CVs? In which world? It's not going to happen. But there's something we call the ATS, which is the applicant tracking system. It's a software that a lot of people don't know about. And ATS could be Zoe, it could be anything. What the ATS does is that the recruiter or the hiring manager has already imputed certain keywords into that software. So when you apply, the ATS or the software will distill and sieve those keywords. If it doesn't find those keywords in your CV never sees the light of day in front of the recruiter. And I hope you understand that. So a lot of applications that you have made, the recruiter never saw it. So that they like you, or you say, oh, I've applied for that role. You're like, oh, okay. I'll look when they say, oh, I'll look out for you. Don't believe them. They are really not looking out in that sense, because they are overwhelmed. They have lots of applications. When we do graduate training applications, we get as much as 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 applicants. You think somebody is going to sit down and go through each CV? No. So you have to be strategic. You need to get a reference. Ask someone to refer you or recommend you. I tell people all the time, LinkedIn is such a great place. Do cold emails, do cold calls, send a message, have a template. Send them a message on LinkedIn. if you, by the time you send 20 people, and it looks like a lot, but those are the things that you must do for your career to grow, for your career to blossom. Now, you know what thing you find. By the time you send 20 messages on LinkedIn to people to say, oh, hello, you've crafted the message so beautifully. Oh, my name is this thing. I'm looking for this role. These are the competencies I've acquired. This, and you're not just saying, please give me a job. And I mean, I know that people like that are not on this course, so I'm not even going there. People that come into LinkedIn and say, hello, opportunity. Okay, no problem. We'll reply when Jesus comes. You can do that. When you go into someone's DM, you should have what you are about to say. Don't say hello and go. Don't say how are you today and go. Hello, my name is this. I have this year's experience in this. Even if you don't have experience, I'm a recent graduate of this. I studied this. I have, these are the skills that I've acquired while on campus. I am looking to contribute to your organization. Look for fine English. Let them even say, this person doesn't have experience like that, but this person has even crafted this message. Let's even bring them for an interview. And I always tell people, get your foot in the door for an interview. Do all that you can to even ensure that you get an interview. Then you can now go and demonstrate and toot your own there, but try as much as possible, right, to even get your foot in the door. Attend a career event, attend mixers, exhibitions, career fairs. Fastest place, you get someone's card. Oh, this is what I do. Can I join your organization? They do interviews, speed interviews on the spot. People have gotten jobs. Don't just sit down in your house under the duvet. You are Netflixing and chilling. You are TikToking every day. Don't do that. Your career is not going to grow like that. The job is not going to come and meet you in your house, except you have a family company that you want to stay in. No problem. But if you don't, and you are looking to grow this career, you must get out. You must get out of your house. Go into those connections. Right? The other thing you must know is personal branding. You need to find your selling point and lead with that. And this is important, especially for recent graduates. And I liked when, I don't know, I can't remember who was speaking now. Someone was talking about, building their career and a personal brand. It's very important for recent graduates because we know that you don't have a lot of experience. We know that you have not acquired competencies. We get that. We understand that, right? But one of the things that also attracts us is the personal brand that you're also bringing. For example, one of the things that I would say really set me up, really put me in the face of people is my communication. Maybe also because of my personality. But there is no way there is no place I cannot exactly stand and speak to an audience. Growing up, maybe I might stumble on the message here and there, but communication is one thing that I feel like has opened the door for me. I know I've learned how to communicate. I've learned how to convince. This conversation I'm having with you, I didn't always start like this. So it's been coming. And so sometimes when people look at me and say, oh, I like your confidence. I like how you talk. Okay. Those are even the things that even gets me first in the room. And then I now get an opportunity to demonstrate my competency. Because remember, sometimes people don't have a lot of time to wait for you to demonstrate your competency. So you must have that catching point that you can hold on and say, okay, this is what I see, right? It could be your oratory. It could be your stakeholder engagement. Some people, they can sell you anything. Have you seen people like that? You didn't want to buy that thing, but you bought it because the way they were even behaving, you'd be like, if I don't buy this thing, you will show up in my dream. That's also a selling point. So you must find it, right? Another thing that I've said is that your CV has to be achievement focused. So yes, in your CV, you are a recent graduate. You don't have a lot of experience, but you have to show the skills that you have demonstrated in the past time, skills that you have acquired, put it there. And if you are not a recent graduate, you're a grown professional, your CV has to be achievement focused. Recently updated CV. I see some CVs and I see people. Okay, let me be calm. But I can take the seriousness at which people apply for jobs. Let me tell you what, people say things like, oh, that should not matter. Just look at their CV and go. I'll tell you why I will not just look at your CV and go. Because as a professional, I am in such a difficult space because, like I said, there are a lot of brilliant people. So I don't want to just do the barest minimum. I want the person who deserves the post to get it. It's unfair for me to not have given the most deserving. So I take 2 CVs and I look at it and I say, what differs between the two? People want to apply for jobs. You say, send an email using this role as a subject. People will still send an email and not put a subject. People will still attach the CV with nothing, no dear hiring manager, no hello sir, hello ma. So you think I'm going to open that email over the person who has taken time to put the correct subject and who has gone on with a greeting? I'm not going to do that. You might be more brilliant than that person, but it tells me a lot about that person's coordination. Remember, there are other things that we are judging you even before your competency. So you say you're a recent graduate, you don't have experiences. Okay. But in terms of coordination, in terms of courtesy, in terms of showing up, how do you show up? How are you organized? You send an email, everything is just scattered, everything is all over the place. Your first name is here, or people will still have emails of babygirl2026@yahoo.com. What are you doing? It's my business. I will get into your business. It's not a professional email. Go and write it everywhere. Quote me. It's not. What are you doing? Go and open a new email. Was for babygirl4life@yahoo.com. I mean, and that's even by the way, but yeah, get professional. That's what I'm trying to say. Now look at this image on the right. If you look at visibility, this is an iceberg, right? And you know that what sustains an iceberg is not so much on what you see, but what is underneath it. You look at visibility, you look at reputation, meaningful professional relationships, network. Every interaction shapes perception. Look at what is powering this visibility. Underneath it, you find excellence, you find reliability, you find integrity, you find the ability to take initiative. Those are the things that people might not exactly see. So when you get on LinkedIn and it looks like, oh, this person, oh, they're everywhere. People are commenting on their posts. Oh, how are they able to have this reach? These are the things that are powering their visibility. Don't be a fluke. Don't be a fake person. Don't come on LinkedIn and share things that you have not worked. You know, LinkedIn is very funny these days. I'm glad to announce, when you now go and look at the person's profile, that's why you have to be careful of comparing yourself. Comparison is a thief of joy. Be careful. Not everything on LinkedIn is as it is. Not everything on Instagram is as it is. So be careful. But for you, you must build substance to power your visibility. You must be an excellent individual, both in your personal life and your professional life. I tell people all the time, your personal and your professional life don't have to be separate. Who you are personally is who you can also be professionally. If you are coordinated in your house, you'll be coordinated outside. I am one and the same. The way I organize myself at home is the same way I will organize myself outside. Do you see? So not two-faced. You have to come correct. It's easier that way to maintain an image, to maintain a reputation, right? How you show up. And I heard someone say, how you do one thing is how you do every other thing. So don't be a fake. Don't join the people who are just announcing achievements. And by the time you get them into interviews, you are shocked at what? This is what you're saying. And I've had cases like that. And I'm just like, God, I beg you. Don't be that kind of person. Let your expertise be so strong. Build expertise. See, you will get there. Let me leave that with you. You will get there. Learn. Keep learning. Keep growing. Don't be in a hurry to blow. You want to be in a hurry to have just a beautiful profile picture on LinkedIn, so that you are also sharing nuggets that you're not practicing. Don't be that kind of person. All right? Okay, let's move quickly because I feel like I'm wondering why I have not even gotten a message to say, Ma, your time is up. But we're going to move very quickly. Okay, now building your career support system. And I'm going to move very fast because I feel like even if we stop here, we've covered a bulk of the important things to build your career as a young professional. Do you sort of agree with me? Can I get a confirmation? Whether by thumbs up? Okay, thank you so much. All right. So when you're building your career support system, right? When you're building your career as a professional, one of the things that you must also pay attention to is your career support system, your mentors, your sponsors, your peers, your professional networks. All of these help you to build a holistic, successful career. Your mentors will provide guidance, whether they're in your organization or outside. Who is that person that you're looking up to that is currently playing in your industry, that you're looking up to and saying, the way this person is going, I like their career path. I want to model my career after their career path. So look out for mentors in your industry. Look out for sponsors. Sponsors create opportunities for you. So in your organization, there are people who will put their feet down for you even when you're not in the room. There are people who will say, no, this person, no, she must get this promotion. No, 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 no. She has to get this promotion. She has to be part of them on this trip. You must, and all these things that I'm saying, it's not because you have a fine face. So I want you to understand it. We're not doing that thing. We're not doing, I fine, I sabi talk. We're doing that. We're bringing value upon value. That they are vouching for you because they know that when it comes to do good work, there are some people that people will always need them, because when it comes to delivering, they know that they can count on them. So your sponsors will create opportunities for you, but nobody's going to create an opportunity for somebody that is not professionally reliable. So you want to ensure that you're bringing value into the workplace. So you have sponsors, you have your peers as well. So as much as, and I see a lot of people do it, and it's worrisome, right? You light the people up, you are learning how to manage, but your peers, it feels like you're not working in coercion with them. It's in coercion with them. No, you need your peers to provide support and accountability. They are very instrumental to your growth as well. Professional networks, I already talked about this. Resources, they give you resources. I belong to a couple of HR groups, and I see people come on and say, oh, I'm trying to do this for my organization. Does anybody have a framework that I can already use? Do you do this in your organization? How do you do it? It makes your job easier. You now go back to your organization, you go and deploy it. They feel like, oh, you are a star, but you got that resource from somewhere. You're still a star because it is the wisdom to belong to a community that helps you, right, to play well at your organization. So you must have career support systems. Okay, now as we start to wrap up, because we're going to wrap up very soon, let's start to look at workplace challenges that can come. So we've talked about the reality of your career today. What are the things that you must start to do as a young professional? What are the things you must pay attention to? Now, there are also some challenges, and remember I said that if you love the work that you do, doesn't mean that you'll not experience challenges. But how do we navigate these challenges? Now, challenges can range from difficult bosses and colleagues. If you've never had a difficult boss, I celebrate you. I've had some difficult bosses, right? Receiving feedback, managing expectations, workplace uncertainty. We already talked about that. Stress and burnout, right? How do you manage yourself? We're going to look at a few, right? We're not going to look at everything. We're just going to touch on a few as we start to wrap up so that we can still have some more time, a bit more time for questions, all right? So I said here that when you're working with colleagues of different personalities, there are a few things I want you to take note of and I want you to remember. The first thing to note is that we're all on the same team, right? Now, I know that there are some people that feel like I'm here for a personal vendetta. I'm here for personal ambition. It's okay. But you must remember we're all on the same team, because remember, your managers are looking. People are paying attention to how you behave at work. The first thing, remember we're all on the same team, and ensure, as much as it lies with you, to maintain a cordial working relationship with everyone. Don't be a fighter. Don't be the one that when you get into the organization, people are wondering, they have come again. Cordial working relationship. Don't take things too personal. If you feel like somebody is getting into your personal space, you can report it. You can set boundaries, and you must have boundaries in the workplace. Don't always bring your personal life to the workplace. You see, the problem with people is that people talk too much. All the things that happen in your house over the weekend that we didn't need to know. It's a different thing if you have a friend that you're having a conversation with and you're gisting. But you see, you have to be sensitive. They're asking you, so what did you do over the weekend? You now go from the party that you attended to the, no problem. When they now send you deliverable, you will not be able to deliver on time. You know those things, they're using it to judge you. So speak small. It's not everything you used to say in the workplace. Do you understand? Set boundaries. Don't take everything personally. Learn to handle egos. I'm telling you, there are people in organization who are there for their personal vendetta, their personal ambition, and they will not relent. They can throw you under the bus to succeed. You must be wise. You must learn to, and there are some things that you take with, okay, I'm just going to manage this. And there are some things that you have to escalate, right? Don't gossip. This one is, I'm an advocate. Don't be a rumor starter. Let me tell you what. When you gossip in the workplace, you might look like you are the in person, like everybody knows that, you have gist. People can even come and meet you. I know, Bola will have gist. Let's go and meet her. It looks cool. But what you also don't know is that it is diminishing your credibility as a professional. You might look like the big shots, like, oh, everybody's gist is in your hand. But I can tell you that the day your gist will enter somebody's hand, you will not be happy about it. It diminishes your professional credibility. So don't gossip, don't be a rumor starter. Choose your battles. There are things with your managers that you have to deal with professionally. Learn to choose your battle in the workplace. Respect other people's opinions and expertise. It's not always going to be your way or the highway. You're smart, you're brilliant, but there are other brilliant people. Sometimes somebody's opinion or somebody's suggestion can be taking over yours, and it's okay. Remember, we're all here to learn. This is how you strengthen your professionalism, right? You also want to ask and understand how the other person works. If you're working with a colleague, maybe you have different personalities. Maybe, for example, you're a choleric and the other person is maybe a melancholy, right? You are more on the agile, fast, and the person is softer. Ask how they work. How can you guys meet in the middle? This way, everybody is on the same page, right? Know and avoid what triggers the other person. Be a problem solver. This problem solving, it will take you a long way. Don't be the person that is always identifying problems, but be the one who also has solutions to the problems, okay? Let me quickly ask. I don't know if Bukola is on call. How many minutes do I have more? Even though I'm wrapping up. Okay, you can just maybe let me know.
You have about 10 more minutes.
10 more minutes. Okay.
Yes.
All right. So I'm going to wrap up quickly. Okay. So these are some ways. And if you're dealing with a difficult boss, right, you know, I know that you can have difficult bosses. The first thing I want you to know is that you have a right to a healthy workplace. I do not subscribe. I would never subscribe to toxic workplaces. And when people say toxic workplace, actually, I want you to be able to ascertain that it's really a toxic workplace. If you go on my LinkedIn, I put a post there sometime, maybe about, I can't remember now, maybe about 2 months ago, where I talked about when people say a place is toxic, what are the signs? Maybe not the signs, but I think maybe 1 or 2 signs of how you can know toxicity and how you can know if it is not toxic, but it's just you being stretched, right? But remember that you have a right to a healthy workplace. Talk to your boss because he or she may not be aware of their action, right? If you feel like your boss is difficult, they're constantly coming down on you, you want to have a conversation with them. Oh, sir, ma, and I'm probably hearing things in my mind like, talk, Ken. You don't even know my boss. My boss, you cannot talk. I can tell you, you need to grow some skin. And when I do career coaching, this is what I tell people. Keeping quiet will not help you. You need to be able to you need to be assertive. You need to be able to stand up for yourself and do it respectfully. Because let me tell you, what other people are dealing with is not what you are dealing with. So you need to learn to talk to your boss, because sometimes they might not be aware, but sometimes they feel like, okay, you're okay with it, and so they continue to do it. So you want to have that conversation. The other thing is you want to demonstrate strong qualities. See, if you're not going to take anything from this quality, this is the only thing you can take, is that the way you bring value to an organization will really set you apart from a lot of other people. The problem is that people talk a lot. People bring problems. They don't bring solutions. They're always coming with what they've observed, what they've identified. But when you now ask them, so how can we correct it? I mean, I don't know, but we can all think about it. But you that you brought the problem, why have you not thought about it? So you have to be a problem solver. You have to demonstrate strong qualities, right? Avoid being defensive. You need to practice patience. Some people, their blood is always hot in the organization. Any small thing like this is like spark plug. Brah. See, remember I told you, the office is not your house. So you have to be calming down. I say my mind, whatever I like, what I do. Don't give out the pieces of your mind and there's nothing left to see. People have been fired from it and they'll be justified. Do you understand? So you need to learn to practice patience, right? Put yourself in your boss's shoes and empathize. I always tell people that sometimes your bosses are busy. They are looking to earn. They are looking to bring in profit into the company, income into the company. I'll give you an example. If you work in consulting, at partner level, partners are not earning salary. You know, for you, whether money is complete or money is not complete, or like people will say, markets day, markets no day, you collect salary. But your partners are not on salary. If money doesn't come in, if the job doesn't come in, they don't get paid. So you need to understand that sometimes they might be dealing with a lot. And sometimes these are the things that make you valuable. When you're able to ask your boss and say, is there anything that I can really help you with? Is there anything that I can do for you that can release the load that you have on your table? It's always a game changer. Know what triggers your boss. Be one step ahead. Be proactive before your boss mentions it. Are there things on their table that you can sort out that they don't have to come back to? Don't be too sensitive. Don't take things personally. And I already said it. You need to be able to you need to be assertive. You need to be able to speak for yourself where the occasion calls. Radiate confidence. Even when you make a mistake, own your mistake, right? After trying all and there is no change, I said it, you might want to start looking for a new job, because there are just some people, they are the weapon that is fashioned against you. They have no intention to change. Start to look for a new job. Start to plan your transition, okay? And of course, value, value, value. You need to give value everywhere that you are. Okay, I think we're okay. We're wrapping up. So I'm just going to run through this. And I already talked about this. When it comes to receiving feedback and giving feedback, you must ask yourself certain questions, right? This feedback that they're giving you, when your boss gives you a feedback, when your colleague gives you a feedback, what is their motive for saying it? One of the ways I like to look at feedback is that when somebody gives me feedback, right, it's something that they've seen, right? They've seen it and it's their observation, and they want to tell me what to do better. Now, there are some feedback that you know that this person is just trying to be malicious. But most of the time, let your first reaction to a feedback be introspection. So you want to introspect and say, okay, what this person has said, does this person really mean it? Like, can I really point? And that's why I say, when you get feedback, don't even wait for feedback to come to you. Go and ask for feedback. That's one of the things that can also change your career as a young professional. Don't wait for performance appraisal period. When you've done work, when you've done something, when you've submitted the deliverable, chase your manager and say, oh, ma, have you had a chance to look at the mail that I sent to you? What do you think about it? What do you think I can do better? Those things have really helped my career. They are game changers. I'm telling you, right? I already said be open, don't be defensive, cultivate a growth mindset, accept your mistakes. All of this I've already talked about. And of course, ask for feedback as often as you can. Don't wait for performance appraisal. Don't wait for 3 months. Do you know there are people who are hearing their weaknesses for the first time in 3 months? It doesn't make you a good professional. Let your manager be the one tired and say, you are after my life. Because I had my manager say and say, Toyin, what is it? But you see where that happens is that when she was doing my appraiser, because the way it works in my organization is we do something we call a performance snapshot. So they appraise you even when you're not there. And when I read the comments, I was almost like, I said, could they be talking about me? But I know where that is coming from, because I will ask you for feedback and I will make sure that I take the feedback and use it. It's not all. There are some that I know that this one is your problem, but I'll not really tell you that it's your problem. But I'll say, okay, no problem, I understand. But the ones where I can take correction, I will do it such that in the next deliverable, you are seeing changes, okay? So it's important that you be the one to go and ask for feedback. Now, as I wrap this up, if you want to move from where you are to where you want to be, or you want to close the gap, one of the things that you must do constantly as a career professional is to do a career audit, to ask yourself, what are my strengths? What skills do I need to develop? What is holding me back? What are the things that I need to learn? How can I close this gap? And where do you want to be in 3 to 5 years? In fact, let me reduce and say, where do you want to be in the next 6 months? If you still want to be in that organization, what competency do you want to have? What proficiency do you want strengthened by the end of the year? You can go that close. By the end of the year, I have a goal that by the end of the year, I would have attained this certification. And so all my mind, my money, I keep saying my money because my money is going to go into it. But it's a career goal that I have, because I know that it's going to increase my knowledge and it's going to increase my earning power. What certification, what communities can I belong to that will open me up to more opportunities? Those are the things that you can ask yourself. So as a quick one, maybe the immediate thing you can do, what is one skill that you want to improve before the end of the year? In the next 6 months, we're already in the 6th month. What is one relationship you want to strengthen? For some of you, you belong to associations that they don't know you, you don't know them, people are just doing. Go back to those associations, those communities. You are in 4. You might not need to be in 4 or 5. If it is one that you want to be an active member, and I'm taking this lesson because there's one that I've identified, and I've told myself that I need to be more active in this community. What action that you want to take? One action that you want to take this month. And in summary, I have said here that your career growth is not about having all the answers. And I know that with all the things that I've said, someone might still be saying, okay, these things are a lot. How do I even move on? It's not about you having all the answers, but it's about your willingness to learn, to adapt and take the next step. Just take one step after the other. You might not know what you want to do next year, but you should be able to know what you want to do in the next 3 months. Do you see? So sometimes you don't see the end, as it were, but you have to see the immediate future, right? Take one step after the other. The professionals who succeed are not always the most talented. And I wish people knew this more. Because sometimes you're looking at your colleague and you feel like, this person is smart because they went to Ivy League school, because they went to one private school. It's not always true. The professionals who succeed are not always the most talented. They are often the most intentional. Commit to yourself and say, I will be more intentional about my growth. I will be more intentional about my career journey. I will ask the right questions. I will belong to the right communities. I will get the right mentors. I will do the right research. I will pay the price to grow my career as a professional. And I hope that has really, really helped you. On this note, I have come to the end of this presentation and I would say thank you.
Wow. Thank you so much, Ms. Oluwatoyin. That was a very, very, very powerful and very passionate presentation. You could tell that this is what you love doing, like you said from the beginning. So before I actually learned a lot and I would have loved to share, but I would want others to share what they have learned and questions. But before we take questions, there'll be a feedback form in the chat now, so we can drop our feedback while we take questions. So does anyone have questions, comments? I have taken notes. I have learned a lot. But I don't want the two of us to be doing all talking. I've not heard any other person's voice today. So please, Khalid, you can go ahead.
Okay, thank you very much, the Dash community speaker, Ms. Oluwatoyin. Honestly, I'm really inspired by the energy and wisdom of your words today. And that sparked something in me. One of the reasons I joined Dash community is to navigate through, personal and professional career. Now, I'm Khalid Abdullah by name, a student of pharmacology in Arizona University, 400 level currently. And I'm kind of into productivity advocacy, SDGs advocacy, and public speaking in general. So honestly, here in the north, we kind of suffer from lack of mentorship, which usually used to discourage youths that who are really passionate. You can imagine how someone who has seen his potential firsthand, but then the community are not willing to support him, and then they are not giving him any encouraging him and things like that. So what can you say about someone who is very passionate, and by passionate I mean who is very ambitious, who usually used to try a lot of different things, and then by trying those different things, he kind of succeed. Shall I say that he tried a lot of things, and there is the potential that he can succeed in different things, but then career development needs someone to channel his energy and resources toward one single thing. Let me say this: I was in Lagos last year, and I was opportunity to speak in a national convention. The comment of people there is like, was like, Carly, if you can get a good mentorship, you do a lot of things. So now I want to ask, I don't know if there is going to be, let me say, if there is somehow a mentorship package, for people like us, and then how can we navigate through, the kind of challenges we are facing in the north? Because honestly, there are a lot of youths who have the potential, who have the vision, want to do a lot of great things, but then lack of mentorship and then discourage from the community. So what can you say about this one? Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you for asking that brilliant question, Khalid. And thank you and well done, for all that you're doing, right? Even in your community. And I must say that the first thing is you're already in a great place. You're already in the Dash community. I mean, bringing this to you on a Saturday evening is already gold. So you're already learning here, right? You're already being able to develop yourself personally and professionally. So you are already in a good community. One other thing that I would say is, as much as maybe there are factors that can hinder you from connecting, or maybe you feel like people who are in places like Lagos have access to opportunities, and I don't even deny that, right? Some people have the opportunity to go to physical conferences, to meet people closer, right, than some other people. But one thing I'm going to say is you're already doing so much. But even in your community, right, you can have access to people that you don't have to physically meet. There are platforms, many platforms, right? LinkedIn being a great place. I'm always an advocate of LinkedIn, right? There are opportunities that I have gotten from LinkedIn. The first time I had the opportunity, uh, um, well, not to travel, not wasn't my first time of traveling, but the first international job that I had was from LinkedIn.
Okay, Paul, are you there?
Okay, I'm here.
Oh, okay.
I
So
think
we lost.
Miss
On LinkedIn.
Oluwatoyin. Okay, she
Okay,
can
are you
hear me
back?
now.
What I'm saying is that even without the
Okay,
I am
okay, we lost you for a second.
okay, my apologies. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. I'm not sure to the point that you had. But I was saying that even if you don't have the opportunity to meet people physically, there are great virtual platforms that you can connect to people, right? I was saying that there was an opportunity I had, the first international opportunity of a job that I had, it was on LinkedIn. Full expatriate package, took me to another country, and I've had so many like that. Speaking opportunities that I've had outside of the country, it was from LinkedIn, looking through my profile, looking through the work that I've done. And I can tell you that the distance should not be a barrier. I know people who are in communities like yours who are doing great work and who can be visible. And that's why places like LinkedIn has given every one of us an equal playing platform, right? Where you can share your knowledge and where you can also take in other people's knowledge. And I tell people, when you're doing something good, put it on LinkedIn. Let us see what you're doing. Let us see how you're helping your community. When I taught at the African Leadership University, one of the things that really blew my mind, because we had many students from African countries, even countries that you probably have never even heard the name before. And I'm talking of countries like that who have come all the way just to come and acquire knowledge to take back to their community. And that was so inspiring because some of them, they don't even have access to water, to good water. But of course, they got that scholarship, got that opportunity to come, and they had to go back to their community. What I'm just trying to say is that whatever you are able to do in your community, ensure that you're doing it. And whatever platform that you are able to write your story, tell your own story. There are people who are watching out for for what would I call it now? For your work. There are people on LinkedIn who are constantly trying to source for information, trying to source for speakers, trying to source for competencies. So don't let that be a disadvantage to you. You can get mentorship virtually. There are people you don't have to meet. There are books that you can read from great authors that you don't have to meet them, but you can leverage on. And I hope that helped you. But like I said, you're already in Dash community and they're already exposing you to great opportunities.
Okay, thank you very much, ma'am. I believe I would leverage all you said, and with time, I believe everything will be aligned here in that community. Thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you, Khalid. Thank you, Ms. Oluwatoyin. Are there more questions? We can still take a few more questions. Please raise your hand if you have questions. You can also drop them in the chat. Okay, if there are no questions, questions can come in the chat, but I want to hear a few people share one or two things they have learned from this session. So I don't want to call names randomly. So let's, because of time, anybody wants to share? Okay. God's power, do you want to share what you have learned from today's session? Okay, your hands are already up. I was late. Oh yeah, now you can unmute.
All right. Good evening. Good evening. Thank you so
Good
much for
evening.
this opportunity, and thank you, Ma. Ma, you're so passionate about what you do, and we can just see it from how you speak. You speak with so much passion, and one can easily learn easily. So thank you so much. You know, as a recent graduate, I learned the CV part caught me so much, and the interview part. So I had to take note of all those things. Thank you so much for that. Then also the striking point you said, where visibility matters as much as competence. So it's not just good that enough that you know how to do this thing. You should be able to put yourself out there, not with the intention of just eye service like you said, but you want to be visible enough for valuable people to locate you also. Then you said things as regards to growth, personal development, and you gave a scenario about the more information you take in, the more your brain stretches and it never goes back to the same position it was. So that's a very striking thing for me. More like a mental illustration in my head. It's always there now. So thank you so much, man. Then you talked about resilience in building a strong professional foundation, resilience and growth, a strong knack for knowledge and research. Then also you talked about behavioral competence. Then I got to know that there are still some soft skills that I still need to acquire that will help me. Things like communication, courtesy, learning those things online. I need them also. So I took note of that. Then I learned about collaboration and teamwork. Yeah, you talked about workplaces. I've experienced the workplace before, but not so much. But from the wealth of all you've said, I think I can thrive in any place. From what you said, not being a gossip, then also trying your best to manage your personality, your emotions with professionalism. Yeah, so these I know that I want to give every other person room to speak, but I have a lot I learned. And thank you so much, man. You're so passionate about how you pass the knowledge. So it's so beautiful. Thank you so much, man. Thank you, Dash community.
Thank you very much, God's power. Does anyone else want to give? Oh, Chukwemeka, please go ahead.
Hi, good evening, ma. Thank you so much for Thank you so much, ma, for this wonderful session. I really enjoyed every bit of this session, and I'm so glad that to think that I almost missed this session, but I'm so glad that I didn't. I learned a lot of things. I've come to understand that you need to build in public. I'm this kind of person that I'm sure that my voice is shaking right now, but I'm this kind of person that I don't know how to communicate very well. I don't know how to like express myself. And I've seen that it's very important. And with what you said, you need to like build in public. You need to organize your thoughts well and you need to articulate yourself well. And I'm so glad that I listened to you because I've always asked myself this question: why must I build in public? Can't I build in silence? Why must I be out there? Thank you so much, ma. I have a lot to say, but I don't know how to put it. I'm so glad. I'm just so glad, and yeah, I'm happy. Let me now go and clear the dust from my LinkedIn and start posting. I'm so happy for this session. Thank you, Dash. Thank you so much. I'm glad.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chidera. I saw a hand raised. Another hand was raised. Please feel free to unmute. Okay, Daniel. So, okay, Daniel and Blues. So Daniel, you can go first.
Okay, thank you so much, Ma. Okay, so thank you so much, Ma, for such an amazing section. Thank you. Like honestly, while you were speaking, I was like, when people say when like they have passion for something, it's actually you can actually see it when it's not just talk. It was very visible. You don't just see in the video the way you were passionately talking to us. Like you were just flowing. It was not like something that was rehearsed. That is something I really appreciate when I come meet speakers. I don't like you can rehearse, but then we know that okay, this is something that thank you so much, ma. Really appreciate. Okay, ma. I learned that to grow you must have a strong knack for knowledge. You must be resilient and dedicated to what you do. You must not just show up like the way casual people show up. Like even though you're in a workplace, your boss or your manager has a lot of things going on in their mind, and you cannot just dare to be different, do things differently. don't hide yourself and say, okay, they might think I'm over, like I'm doing too much. No, you're not actually doing too much. You're actually leaving a mark, like you're actually like stamping your identity on your manager's page. And also I learned that you should have a growth mindset, that you cannot really your brain, you are thinking that your brain cannot really expound. You're thinking your brain is very limited, that some things, knowledge is painful. Some kind of knowledge you want to impute in your head is kind of painful, but in the pain comes the growth, comes the elasticity, and it does not shrink back. So thank you so much, ma. I really, really appreciate it. God bless you, ma. And thank you, Dash community.
Thank you, Daniel. Please, you can go ahead. Bulus Bahag, are you still here? Please help with pronunciation of your name, and you can go ahead with your comments. Okay, Chibuzo, your hand is also raised.
Good evening, everybody. Good evening, Dash
Hi,
community.
good evening.
I want to say a very big thank you to our speaker, Mrs. Oluwatoyin. I really had a great session, and a big thank you to Dash community also. But in all honesty, at some point I felt down during this session because some things became clear to me that I've been missing. But when I remembered the first part where she said career path is not always linear, there's always, ups, and so I think I cheered up. So I guess I'll just have to correct and move on. So a very big thank you to our speaker and a very big thank you to the Dash community. I really appreciate this. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Chibuzo. So, Bulus Bahag, are you here now? We'll be taking yours last, and we'll wrap up.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm sorry, my network, I'm having a serious problem with my network.
Fine.
So first off, good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
By saying thank you to Dash community for big privilege. I count it a real privilege to be on this program, and having to be on today's session is mind blowing actually, because I'll say I learned a lot of things, and a lot of things resonated with some of the things I've seen in my workspace. I'm a person that can be very much outspoken in person, but when it comes to having Zoom meetings like this, I get to fidget a bit. But I think I've learned a lot of things today, that confidence should match visibility, because I realized that I have her kind of energy, but I think I'm not using my energy right. And talking about dealing with toxic boxes and colleagues at workplace is something I've really faced. I think one of the things I've faced in my workplace is it tends to look as if I have so much to share. I'm oversharing. So today I've learned that sometimes, even if I have to share, I shouldn't get irritated by some of the opinions I get from people. I should also know that in a workspace, there are people with different kind of temperaments. I'm a sanguine by temperament. I'm a person that I know anywhere I can stand to talk, I can stand. I have that privilege. And it has happened in one of my stakeholders meeting. I was privileged to coordinate a session in the stakeholders meeting, talking about confidence and visibility. I anchored that session, and immediately after that session, I realized that some of my bosses that didn't even know the potentials I have, didn't know I have a lot I can deliver, but because I'm not visible enough, I'm not putting myself out there enough. And just like she said, it shouldn't be in a competitive way. It shouldn't be trying to bring somebody down. You should bring out your potentials without bringing somebody down. So I think today I've learned a lot, particularly with boss working environment. Sometimes I want to go about, I need to let it out of my chest. But I've learned that it's not about letting it out of your chest. Sometimes I'm entitled to having a peaceful workspace, but I shouldn't oversay the things that will make me have limited words to share. So thank you very much, Ma, for everything you've shared. And I've learned a lot. I just said about neuroplasticity of the brain. And it was like, wow. So it means that what I give my brain is what my brain brings out. So it's about like a garbage in and garbage out process. So it means my brain has the capacity to expand beyond the way I think my brain functions. So that I've realized that maybe that's why most times I'm taking a course and I find it difficult to navigate those courses. It's not because of anything. I think it's because my brain is taking a process of adjustment. So thank you very much, Ma. I've learned a lot today, and it's a privilege to have you on the platform. Thank you so much, Ma.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you very much, Miss Oluwatoyin. Personally, I learned about relationships. I learned um, um, to take advantage of the relationships we have, build good relationships. While we're working on our skills, we should also work on character development. I enjoyed that in this session, everybody was able to apply it to their personal lives and their own personal experience. And I definitely enjoyed your passion while you were explaining everything. It was easy to follow and easy to relate to my life. So thank you so much. I believe if there are questions, would also share your
Sorry, 1 second.
okay. All
Did
right.
Chibuzo go already? I see Chibuzo's hands up. Did he go already? Or
Yeah, I think it did.
okay,
It
just
did.
checking. Just checking.
All right, thank you. Okay, so we shared your LinkedIn profile to anyone. I hope it's okay that they can reach out if they have any questions. All right, thank you so much, Ma. Thank you so much, everyone. I hope you guys enjoyed the rest of your evening. This was
for
an
having me.
amazing session.
Thank you so
Thank you
much,
so
Ms. Toyin Sodipe. Really appreciate you coming on board. This was very. I learned a few things here too, so it was really really good. Thank you. I really appreciate it.
much. Thank you
Yeah,
so
very
much.
good at this communication thing. Maybe we're going to bring you back to come and teach us how to communicate.
I'm here. I'm here.
Thank you
No
very
problem.
much.
Thank you. All right. Thank you. Bye.
Take care. Bye, everyone. Yes, Chukwemeka. We'll try. Bye, everyone.